Shitty ex-wife is now dying. How to be there for my adult son despite being bitter. My ex-wife conducted affairs with three guys at the same time at the end of the marriage. She was a manager and fired someone. That someone took revenge and called me to tell me about one guy. She was seeing him on her lunch hour, which after a bit of trickle truth served to reveal there were three guys. She then spent a few hours face to face and on the phone on a couple of occasions, comparing me to one of the guys she was seeing. This is in addition to her physical and emotional abuse in the marriage. I have a scar and several hospital bills to prove the physical abuse. She also treats our son like shit. She is angry that he is gay. I'm extremely bitter towards her. Now, several years after the divorce, while she is with a fourth man, she has been diagnosed with a very aggressive cancer and wants to talk to me phone. She moved several hours away. She likely has 60 or 90 days left, but I have to be there for our adult son. I have to admit to thinking it couldn't happen to a better person. It's a terrible thing to think, but the thought won't leave. I hate that I am such a shithead thinking this. I am disgusted with myself, and I'm struggling with that thought while trying to be there for our son. I'm a horrid, disgusting person for this thought, but it won't leave. I'm sick about myself for this, and I don't deserve his love, but I need to be there for him. I disgust myself. He deserves a better man for a dad. How do I get rid of this thought? How do I stop being so disgusting? How could I be there for my son while being such a terrible person with such a terrible thought? Should I speak with her on a phone as she requested? Should I tell her she is forgiven? Assuming that's what she wants to speak about, she isn't, but I can't fake it.
You don't owe her a fake forgiveness, it might not even make you feel better. But for the sake of your son, the best you can do is not to badmouth her in front of him or anyone who is still connected to her. Let him go through his pain and grief and be there for him. You are validated to your ill feelings, and you might need to create a private outlet for that, but don't let that near your son while he's hurting, hoping the best for you and your son. It's okay to have negative thoughts. She treated you horribly, so forgive yourself for the way you think about her now. In every action from this point forward, make sure you are doing the right thing for your son. Keep him and his interests in mind. Focus your energy on him. You don't owe your ex-wife anything, but you are soon going to be all he has left, so show up for him. To acknowledge this hatred is a powerful step in your own healing. Rare indeed is the individual who has no hatred for one who has abused them. You are human. Your son is human. You don't need to be on good terms with his mother to be there for him. Just be a human being, faults, strengths, weaknesses, all of the parts of you, and remember that he is your son. Let him know you love him, and he will very likely do the same. Be there for your son. You don't owe your ex anything. Also, something someone once told me that really stuck with me. You can't help the thoughts that pop up into your head. They don't mean you actually feel that way. What matters is how you correct yourself in your own mind. That's how you really feel. So you thinking she deserves it, but then correcting yourself and feeling bad you ever dared have that thought, that's who you really are, and how you feel. Your ex wants to unburden herself and get your forgiveness. I am not one of those. Forgiveness is a gift you give yourself. New Ages. This woman betrayed you and your family, that means she also betrayed your son. Stop with the self-flagellation. Bitterness, anger and negative thoughts in a situation like this are normal and human, especially about someone this horrible. You can be there for your son and not be a doormat for your vile ex. My dad was in your situation, but the anger was mainly gone, I think. My mom was awful to my dad due to her untreated mental illness. She didn't start treatment until I was in high school and still treated my dad horribly, even though they had been divorced since I was a toddler. Anyways, when my mom died, he was just there for me. I had no idea how to plan a funeral or do the court stuff, and he took the time to walk me through it over the phone, even though it was the middle of the day and he owns a very busy business. He was my second call after my brother. While he didn't go to the funeral, he lives 4 hours away and probably had no interest in going. He never said a bad word about my mom and helped remind me that she loved me even though she was sick. Honestly, one of the things I respect most is my dad never speaks badly of my mom. Once or twice he has told me some of the crazy stuff she has done, but as an adult, I appreciate the fact he is the bigger person. He knows talking badly about her only hurts us, so he doesn't do it where we can hear and never did. He always allowed us to form our own opinions of her, and he did his best to protect us from her worst behavior. Firstly, I agree with your thoughts. She got what she deserved. Oh well. And you're justified to feel that way. Your monster will no longer walk this earth, and I'm sure it will be a healing and freeing feeling when she passes. Secondly, you do not need to speak to her. You don't owe her shit. I'm sure she might be trying to right all of the wrong she did to you and is trying to repent. Not your problem. And you do not have to listen or be a party that. Third and most important, take yourself and that monster out of the equation. If someone your son knew that you didn't was in the same position, you would be comforting your son. You would give him words of strength to help him. You would let him cry to you and give him lots of love. This is how you need to treat this situation. You do not need to mention your monster at all. You can just be an ear to listen to your son and remind him that you love him and will be there for him always. I hope you are able to do this. And please do not feel any shame in how you feel. You don't owe her anything. Ask your son what he needs, what support he needs, what communication he needs. Don't beat yourself up too much. I recently went through something similar this year. My mill hated me, was always horrible to me, said awful things about me. Even told me that I didn't deserve to marry her son. You can bet I had some horrible, nasty thoughts when she was diagnosed with cancer. I don't feel like I was a great support to my husband when she passed because I couldn't let go of my anger. I feel terrible now. I should have been whatever he needed. Forget about her and support your son. He needs you, she does not. Honestly, if I was in her situation, I would probably look after myself and not interact with her ex. I don't mean be selfish and ignore her son, just be there for him if he needs someone to talk to about it, listen and let him vent, but don't do anything which makes you too uncomfortable.